Okay everybody, Kevin here for CrackBerry.com with some footage for the CrackBerry archive. So this is not for public consumption, but today we're going to take a look at, well, the first BlackBerry 10 phone. This is the L series full touchscreen device. We've got two of them. This is the BlackBerry Dev Alpha, so you can see how they've evolved it since then. Just to give you a quick size comparison, here is your standard iPhone 4S. So let's take a quick look around the hardware fast. Black slab, pretty cool looking. Around the side, you've got your micro HDMI, your micro USB. It has this sort of solid unibody metal chassis that's all blacked out. Around the top, you have your headset port. You've got your screen on button, your little, I guess, microphone pickup. Around the side, you've got your volume up, down, and mute keys. You can see that continuation of the unibody chassis. Your speaker outlet port there. Note that there's no charging contact, so I guess it's going to be, docking stations off the USB. If you look at the sides here, you can see the metal frame has a slight just kind of leveling down, which kind of makes it feel nice in the hands like this. Fairly heavy device, but in a good way, and it does have a removable battery cover, so I can pull it off. And you have the LS1 battery, 1800 milliamps under there. You have your micro SD storage. You have your micro SIM card. These contacts connect to these contacts for your NFC, and that's it. Door seems to hold on pretty good. Goes on easy enough. Just kind of clicks into place. Yeah, nice soft touch rubber on the back. Feels good in the hand. It's very BlackBerry tool-like. In a good way. Clean that off. So you can see, got two of these babies. And just for comparison size with the display on, there you go. And compared to something like the 1X here, which this guy's got a broken screen, you can see the overall footprint of the phone is actually very similar. HTC is a little bit wider here. And they get that 4.5-inch display, really kind of maximizing the footprint of the device, whereas this is 4.2, so you have a little bit more padding top and bottom compared to the HTC where the screen starts a little bit lower. But pretty cool. Definitely a different BlackBerry. Feels good. And let's walk through BlackBerry 10. So this is not final at all. You can see it's serial numbered up through the yin-yang. But I'll give you a good quick look at it. And basically this is, BB10 is an evolution of the Playbook OS. So this is still Playbook software that's getting the BlackBerry 10 UI built into it. Gesture at the bottom to unlock the screen. As you swipe up, basically it brightens up to daytime. You can see at the bottom you've got this little legend here. So by default the home screen is the grid, which is your grid of open apps. If you swipe to the right, you go into your icon tray and you can see it's going through number 2, 3, 4. You swipe back, you're back to the home screen, and from anywhere you swipe left and you're into your email inbox. And if you go back from there, then you can toggle between your accounts. So it's very much a big sort of grid that you're navigating between. When it comes to being in open apps, what happens here is you're in an app, and if you swipe back up, basically you get a look at the peak, so all your messages that are inbound, and if you want to jump into them, you just pull right and you're into your messages. If you go back, home screen, is the swipe up takes you back to the grid. So that's very much the flow. If you want to stay in an app, you stay in an app. If you want to go all the way back home, you just swipe far up and it takes you to the grid, back into a different app. And if you want to jump into your inbox, you can do that from anywhere. So that is the skin. If you want to close those open apps, you can hold on them and then X them off. And they're basically displaying the most recent. So now you can see here we have no open apps, so the grid went away. Other cool things, so your settings swipe down at the top. you can see here the look of the Playbook OS. So if you hit settings there, these are your old Playbook settings. You can even see it says, Playbook 10.0.6. But if I go into the settings app, then we can see that BlackBerry 10 settings are very much under construction. And there's some interesting things here. So BlackBerry Protect built into the settings. BlackBerry Bridge is actually showing off the ability between devices and computers. We heard that you might be able to bridge with computers, so I think that is actually coming here. So we'll have to try that out. BlackBerry ID, video chat, payment settings, lots of stuff there. You can go into display, change your wallpaper, font sizing. Actually, let's go back and see what advanced said there. Retail display mode. Notifications. So you can change your notifications for all your different apps. You can see how this isn't finished. It still, needs icons and that kind of thing. But again, swipe up, takes you to the grid. Go into your things. Now, one thing that's cool here too is the implementation of Blackberry Balance. So for many of your icon trays here, if you just kind of swipe down on the screen, it pulls out this menu between personal and work mode. Now I'm in my work mode, so these are my only, quote, work apps. And, I think even at that point you can kind of change your email accounts that are showing tied to that work address. Doesn't work in there, but from here, swipe down, go back into personal. Going through some of the apps, there's lots of stuff here just kind of under construction. You got your bug reporting, obviously. They got some of the Tetris and all that stuff from the Playbook. You can see here, the camera's being rewritten. It doesn't seem that time warp. Okay, so here's your standard Playbook camera. But if we close that for a second, then there's another camera app. And this one has the time warp feature right here. So time warp video, photos, but I don't think it really is working yet. I don't know. What else is cool? You can see there's things like BBM cascades. Not working quite just yet. Clock app, looking good. You can see how this kind of bottom one-hand UI is very much in there throughout. Same thing with the web browser. This is kind of neat where, same thing. Instead of having your URL bar at the top, it's at the bottom. I don't know if my Wi-Fi is quite working at the moment. Yeah, Wi-Fi, CrackBerry. Keyboard, this one doesn't have the swiping turned on, although there are options for all that we're seeing, so. If I go back to settings, you can see even here it's kind of nice. They're doing a good job with like the fading in between the screens. It's not bad. It looks good. I like this too. If I go to shut it off, fades out. Yoop. And off. So not bad, you can tell it's the Playbook OS, right? They're just reskinning it, regraphicing it, and reskinning it with different graphics and putting in the flow kind of skin and UI into it. But pretty intuitive, I think. Well, actually, not exactly intuitive at first, but once you learn it, it seems pretty fun. And I like this ability to kind of hook in everywhere. And on that note, I think I will probably shut this down. But, September 16th, 2012. Don't say CrackBerry didn't have it first. But we won't be posting this. Strictly for the archives. That is it. Kevin out.